Hold on tight for the next hour. You're entering into a place, a zone called the alternative to the alternative media. It's a place, a special place where even truth seekers fear to tread.
All right, people, let's move like we've got a purpose.
Affirmative.
Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, people of all races, colors, and creeds, welcome back to the greatest show on earth. I mean the greatest because we're better than going to a spirit cooking dinner hosted by Maria Abramovic, and when she gets there, she tells you that the only thing on the menu is white meat and red salsa. Oh my God, I can't go to one of those, but there's a lot of talk about the insiders loving to drink blood like Dr. Dracula Fauci and all these deaths. Let me tell you something, this show is better than listening. Every morning you wake up and you hear there's been 256 million coronavirus deaths. You know, they've made them up. Everybody dies, that's for sure. But now we know why we're going to die, because we're going to die of the coronavirus. Well, listen, this is America. Everybody can listen. Like I say, people of all races, colors, and creeds. I don't care what you are, whether you're a prince or a pauper, whether you're a king or a queen, whether you're just a lowly peasant like me. We can all listen except, well, we can listen because this is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Not really. It's the land of the sneeze and the home of the Smith brothers cough drops. Don't kid yourself. This isn't America anymore. Who's kidding themselves? But you know, you can't listen. No, you know the old one. You've listened to my show. But I've added something. If you think you're a boy one day and a girl the next, you can't listen. But on the third day, if you think you're both, then you really can't listen. But you know what really bugs me too? You can't listen if you use initials for your name, like OAC. I hate that. I can't stand it. If I find out somebody, like I take a caller and they say, "Who's calling?" It's GCD. I just shut them off. All right, you can't listen if you basically use one name. If Cher calls in, she gets no respect on this show. I tell her, go away till you give me your last name. Bono, he can't come on. There's many of these people, The Fly, and all of these people with one name are banned for life. Just like I'm banned from all of YouTube and all of these other places. So just get used to it. And you know what? I've added one to the list. You can't listen if you hyphenate your name. I don't know why. I'm going to have to go to my psychiatrist. And guess what? He's going to tell me why. But if your name is like Kimberly hyphen Smith Jones hyphen, whatever they want, Starlet of the Sun, whatever, you can't listen. I don't care. And you also can't listen if you ever use the word highway robbery. Oh, why, Greg? What's so bad with that? There is no such thing. You cannot rob a roadway. But anyway, if you don't think that's right, well, listen, there are no more highways. It's, for example, why am I even doing this? You've got better things to do, right? Oh, really? What do you got better to do? Well, spend half your day in the kitchen. Then I think tonight I'll take a journey over to my living room, and because I'm listening to Emperor Newsom tell me I can't go out. Do you believe people in... Oh, boy, I tell people, get out of California. Get out of New York. And they just say no. They got to stay. But you're going to put up with the worst lifestyle in the world. I can't believe it. But anyway, back to highway robbery. If you say it, you can't listen. And the reason I did that was Trumpy yesterday got up and he was touting his idea. It was a good one. If I get rid of one regulation we have promised to get rid of, if I add one, what is it? Okay. If I add one regulation, we promise to get rid of 2 more. But he actually gets rid of 8 more because he's getting rid of regulations. Let me ask him a question. How come if he's getting rid of all these regulations, all the businesses are closed? Does it make any difference? Yeah, it's insane. And he wears a mask too. So who do you think he is? Yeah, he had one on. Don't let him kid you. But anyway, so I decided he's like the regulation police. I'm like the English language police. So every one good statement I say, for example, why don't you cut a rug? I'm going to keep that one in. I love it. We know we don't cut rugs, but everybody wants to dance a little, right? So I keep cut a rug, but then I get rid of highway robbery and 5 other words like read the riot act. You can't say, I say it, but it's my show. But you can't say it. You can't say go stick it. You can't say read the riot act. You can't say down the tubes. Lock him up and throw away. The key is off the books. We're taking all these out of the English language for good reason. And I'm adding highway robbery. Yes, highway robbery. Because, first of all, think about it. Guy steals something. Oh, like Biden, 150 billion he gives to his son from Ukraine, right? Oh, hey, that's highway robbery. No, it's not. It would be, if you want to be correct, expressway robbery, supersonic freeway robbery. We don't have highways. For example, back in the old days, they said dirt road robbery. Then they went to cobblestone robbery. Then they went to Route 66 robbery. Now highways got to go. Like I said, it's got to go. But anyway, I could go on forever. I can't. Because, let me tell you this, I have a great interview. You've always wondered who's going to win the presidential elections. And since we're in a presidential selection season, I have brought on a man who's going to tell you who's going to win in November. You're not going to believe this guy. So let me get right to him. Okay, everybody's wondering who's going to win the selection or election, as most people in America think. Well, I brought on Jonathan R. Lothbrooke VII. He was born on September 11th, 1905. Jonathan is 114 years old. You're not going to believe this. And he is related to the Vikings. Okay, now Jonathan is a seer. Now, a seer is a mystical soothsayer with supernatural powers who can communicate with the gods and answer questions about the future. Greg, can I interrupt? Sure, Jonathan, go ahead. I'm an old man, but I'm a Christian too. Okay, Jonathan, well, just let me introduce you. Okay, Greg. Are you okay? Yes, Greg, I'm fine. I'm old. 114. I'll tell you how I made it. Okay, Jonathan. Okay, so he's a seer. And he has traced his lineage back to the Vikings. Now, seers, like I was saying, are mystical soothsayers with supernatural powers who can communicate with the gods and answer questions about the future of one's fate in life. The Vikings, as well does Jonathan on certain days, believes that their fate is already decided and turns to seers to translate the gods' wishes and intentions. And why I brought Jonathan on is he is in lockstep with the leaders of the world who are actually basically communicating with the gods. But they also, the reason I brought Jonathan on, he's written a book called How to Be a Modern-Day Viking Seer. And it's really interesting, but before I get to Jonathan, let me tell you a little bit more about him. The reason he's so interesting. He has predicted, and this is documented, every president since FDR, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Nixon, Ford, Bush, Daddy, Reagan, Bush baby, Obama, Trump the first term, and now we have him for an exclusive because you can put everything aside. He understands and already knows who's going to win. So, you know something, Jonathan? Yes, Greg, go right ahead. I'm still here. I'm just having a hot cup of cocoa in the morning to get my blood boiling. I put a little bit of, Viking ale in there, a little bit of whiskey. Jonathan, I know. Let's keep you on track. Okay, Greg. Yes, let me tell you something first, though. I'm from a long line of Lothbrooks. By the way, Jonathan, what does that R stand for? Ragnar. It stands for Ragnar. Ragnar Lothbrok, my old Viking. He was in my family. Yes, he was a leader of the Vikings. But my family has seers. We've been seers for years and years. But you know something? Jonathan, wait. Let me get this straight. How can you be a seer? What is a seer? And where did you get these powers? Well, Greg, let me tell you this. I was struck, my family long down the line was struck by a lightning bolt from the god Thor. Really? So you believe in Thor? Well, Greg, put it this way. I have no choice. This is my family, but I'm a Christian now. But I still retain these powers. They come over me in ways I can't explain. I've even been contacted by the Illuminati to tell them who's going to win. Okay. You sound like... Yes, Greg, I see what other men don't see. Now, Jonathan, you've predicted every American election since FDR. Yes, Greg, yes, I've done much more, though. In fact, my grandfather, it's getting so... 114, I still can do a few push-ups. My grandfather, Floki Lothbrok, he predicted the Lincoln assassination, and no one listened. Nobody listened, Greg. Nobody listened. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible, terrible. But he predicted it. He told everybody, and they thought he was crazy. They were going to burn him at the stake. Yes, then Lincoln was assassinated. Well, Greg, I've done many things. Besides presidents, I've done so many. You know something? Are you having a little trouble speaking? Well, Greg, it's hard to get the words out when you're this old. I hope people understand who I really am. I'm going to tell you in a moment who's been selected or elected president for the next years. I hope I'm still here to see it, but I want to leave my legacy. Yes, I do. Okay, Jonathan. So let me get this straight. You give me your bio here. You've predicted the Spanish flu? Yes, it was a fraud, just like this COVID-19. You know something I'm going to have fun with? I can even predict my own death. I'm going to die of COVID-19, just like all of us. But then you say you also predicted 9/11, Kennedy assassination, the death of Princess Di, and you have it in your book here that you actually told the time and the moment of her death and how she was going to die. Yes, Greg, that was a difficult one, but it came to me. You see, basically how this happens is once my family was struck by the lightning bolt from Thor, we retain these supernatural powers. You know, this reminds me of something. I've watched that series, The Vikings. I was enthralled by some of the things. I love the acting in it. Oh, Greg, they were a bit off, but I enjoyed it myself. My granddaughter gave it to me, and I spent a number of hours seeing how correct they were. Many different things. They did say this, though, that, I agree with the destiny part. We are destined. Christians don't believe it, but I believe, because look at what's happened. Even Albert Pike, he predicted the 3 wars. Yes, and now here we are. Look at what's happening. For an old man like me, I don't care about going out anymore, but for these young people, it's so terrible. Okay, so you predicted the Spanish flu. You said it was a hoax. Then you also predicted Princess Di Kennedy assassination. Oh, these lone gunmen, they're all, I see them in dreams. For example, Lincoln. He was killed by a group of people, all involved. The Vatican was involved. You could read the history. They even put one of the men was even taken to the Vatican, hiding out from our patriots. Okay, we'll get into that another day. That's a touchy subject. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, but you know what happens is, yeah, I know, John. Just hold on. What happens is they change history, and you don't read the truth. And I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out behind the scenes what's going on. Well, I could tell you what's going to happen in the next 100 years if you want to come and have an appointment with me. Are your appointments free? Greg, I'm too old to take money. You can come anytime. I'll tell you everything. Okay. We got to get to the point here because everybody's waiting with bated breath about who's going to win or be selected in November. But before I do that, let's clear up a few things. Okay. You predicted all these things. Your grandfather, Floki Lothbrok, predicted the Lincoln assassination. He then went on to predict World War I. You got involved with the Spanish flu. You were a young boy then.
Yes, Greg, I was, but I had these powers ever since I was a 6-month-old baby.
Okay. All right. So, we got you struck by lightning. Your whole family was a thunderbolt from Thor. You're now a Christian, but you have these powers anyway, and you try to use it to help people, not to harm them. Okay. So, you see other things no man can see. You predicted every election correctly since FDR. You even predicted Trump in 2016. So, should I give a drum roll here? So, what's going to happen in 2020 in November?
Oh, Greg, let me sit back. I need to be in a good position because things change. Some days I get one message from the gods, the next day I get another.
Okay, you relax. But how exactly do you do this? Do you have to do anything? Does it come to you?
Well, Greg, it's a secret. But I have to put myself in water that is tinged with a little bit of lime and garlic. I stick my feet in. It's got to be at least 78 degrees temperature. Then I throw in a bunch of herbs and spices. It's a big stew. People don't understand how this works. My family has been doing it for such a long time. Such a long time.
Well, can you get to who is going to win or be selected in 2020?
Greg, I've already told people, but I'm going to tell you. It's going to be the Bumbling, Biden, and the New World Order freaks. Trumpy has made a deal to leave with a reason of the COVID-19. That's why they brought it on. He only wanted to be president for one term. This is the last time you'll see a president in America. America will be gone, Sue. I see it now. It will be gone soon. There'll be nothing left. It will just be a wasteland of socialist people telling you what to do. Thank God I'm going to be leaving for Valhalla soon.
Well, that's interesting because I know in the Viking series you only go to Valhalla if you're a warrior. How can you do that?
Well, Seers, we have special powers, but I always keep myself in shape. I do some sword fighting and dancing with the old Viking swords, and occasionally I go back to the old people's home and I beat up a few of these old people and I win. Ha! So I'm going to Valhalla.
Okay, I hope you don't hurt them.
No, it's a lot of fun in games. And then we play bingo.
Okay, Jonathan. So we got it. From Jonathan R. Ragnar Lothbrok VII, born on September 11th, 1905, 114 years old, going on 115. How do you stay so young? Can you just tell us? We have to know.
Well, see, I have a potion of Viking ale mixed with a bit of whiskey I get from back in Louisiana. They're making it there still. I have a friend. He comes for sessions with me. I tell him what's going to happen. What's going to happen.
Jonathan, anything else that we should know about these elections coming up? Because I'm a personal believer that they've already selected the presidents, and they've already selected most of these presidents that you have picked.
Greg, you're absolutely right. That's how I know it. They contact me. They come for sessions. I talk with all the Illuminati leaders. They come to me. Even the priest, the Pope. They come and I tell them. Because it's all destiny, they think. I know it doesn't. Many people don't believe it. I don't know what to believe sometimes, but I tell you I've been right.
Can I ask you a big question? You know, in that series, The Vikings, they always lick the seer's hand after.
You're going to ask me if they lick my hands. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they have to. If they don't, they could be sent to Valhalla immediately, or gone to Hermes, or gone to the place where they'll never get to Valhalla. It's respect.
Well, why do they do that? You explained it, but is there something that we can relate it to?
Well, Greg, it's more or less like this. You know, you ever see the people going to Rome and kissing the Pope's ring? Oh, yes. It's the same respect. They kiss the Pope's ring.
Okay, I got to ask you a question. Is he the leader of the world?
Well, yes, he is, the Black Pope and him.
Okay. And how do you know that?
Because I see it. I see it. This is the power of a seer. We can see.
Okay.
Greg, I have to go. I'm getting old. I can't talk much more. I'm losing my voice.
Okay, Jonathan. Thank you so much. Thank you, Greg, for having me. That's okay.
Please have me back. And I want to tell you where you're going to be in 5 years.
Okay, Jonathan.
Thank you, Greg.
Jonathan R. Buxton. That was him, yeah. In the 7th, a Viking seer living with us just told us Bumbling Biden's going to be there. Trump is gone. So you got it right from the seer's mouth. What do you think? And you know what? I don't think I want to know where I'm going to be in 5 years. But anyway, that was Jonathan R. Buxton. And this is the Greg Anthony Show. Okay, only in America, right? What an interview. What a guy, huh? 114 years old. I'm surprised he could still talk. He did a marvelous job, though, I thought. And he gave us some insights into perhaps some of the things that many of us now have forgotten about, what people believed in the old ancient days, and how it's been carried over to some people today. Basically, many of our leaders in the world have basically talked with Jonathan R. Lothbrok and gotten his advice of what's going to happen in the future. And so maybe that's how they plan all these things. For example, we know the Spanish flu was planned, the COVID-19 was planned for years, 9/11 was planned ever since they put up those towers, according to Mr. Lothbrok in his book. If you got to get it, it's called How to Be a Viking Seer in the Modern Ages. Very interesting. And I hope this is not a conflict with any kind of belief, whether you're a Hindu, a Buddhist, or whether you're a Christian. It's not a conflict. It's just understanding what others believe that may be on the top of the totem pole controlling us. For example, there's no logical reason why they've shut down all the churches, I'm just talking, many in the United States, but in California, they're shutting them out. You can't go to church. You can't even have a Bible study in your house with more than, 3 people. So, what is that all about? So, we'll have Mr. Buck. I didn't ask him that, Mr. Lothbrok, on. I'll have him on again to talk about that. But we can all see how crazy it is. But this was all planned out. And so, by understanding how the occult works and what they believe in, the gods, how they want you to worship the gods. We did a show yesterday on basically how that wearing the mask is a sign of a death or a birth ritual, and how you're partaking in it, and you're now warned, don't. They're making you worship the sun god without you knowing. And all you Christians with masks on, take them off especially if you protest. You're a Protestant. Protest 2 things. Don't worship the sun if you believe in Christianity, and by putting that mask on. That's what's happening, I think. Think about that. Don't wear it, even if you have to go to Costco. And I did a show where I gave you a number of, a person came on and gave you a number of things you can do in this earthly world to protect yourself by showing laws, regulations, by even showing these big corporations their own ethical standards, meaning everybody can shop. So don't let them force you into that mask and worship the sun gods. And I hope you learned a little bit from that old man, the wise old Viking seer, Mr. Jonathan R. Lothbrok VII. Okay, back in 3 long minutes on the Investigatore Giornale.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn, the Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The following program is labeled dangerous and off limits by the supreme Jesuit command. But stand tall, people. Listen up, and you may just learn something.
Oh, dear Lord Jesus, this ain't happening, man. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, back for the last segment. Everybody can listen. Like I said, this is the land of the sneeze and the home of the Smith Brothers cough drops. Yeah, well, a bunch of brave Americans. How can we win a revolution with what's going on? Everybody's listening to these people tell them where to go, what to do. I'm giving you the emperor's anti-order, because he has, none of these people have any right to do this. First of all, they can't prove there's an emergency or a pandemic. They can lie to you and give you all these crazy statistics, but nothing pans out, and everybody knows it, but they keep doing it. So I told you it has to be a spell, an occult spell, and I'll get to that in a minute. But don't worry about it, folks. Everybody's saying we've lived in this new world order for a long, long time. It's just heating up now. It's just getting to the point where it's going to be interesting and fun. I'm kind of looking forward to see where we're going with this. You know, I've given up on people a long time ago. Like I said, think about all the stupid people there are in America, and then think half of them are stupider than that. Think about that. But just as people under Augustus Caesar and people after that, all the way up until now, have lived in this new world order, you know, you have to realize it, understand it, identify it, deal with it. Don't be frightened of it. And think about how you're going to cope with it. And how can you figure out that it's been this way? Well, one of the best things, people go, well, who is Greg? Who is Greg? What does he believe in? Well, you know, I've read the Bible, and I think that, maybe not as much as you guys, but I've read it enough to understand that it's really the only record that publicly and truthfully sets forth the evildoers and the wrongful people that are controlling us today. And if you go through it with an open mind, you'll see, you know, even if you don't read the Bible, if you're another
If you're a Seventh-day Adventist, they have their own little Bible, right? And then Muslims have something. Everybody has something. But anyway, the Bible is a pretty good record. It tells you all these events. It progresses life from the beginning till now, and it really sets forth what is really going on today and where it comes from. That's why I enjoy it. So anyway, let's not forget that this is nothing new. It's just moving into a different time. Now, what I thought about, somebody emailed me the other day and said, Greg, what's happening with Slats Grobnik's Revolution? You've written so many parts of it. We haven't heard from a while, so could you please update it and maybe give your listeners a basis of where this came from, right? I know you've done, he said, about 15 segments or episodes, and you stalled for a while. What's going on, he said. And I said, well, listen, Slats Grobnik has been captured, and I don't know where he's at yet. He was at Georgetown University, the hub of evil. They do control, the Vatican and Jesuits do control our foreign and domestic policy in many ways. The money they're getting from this government in China is obscene alone when you realize how they play both sides of the fence. And I've documented that we found out recently in a book that was written in Italy that the Vatican's been receiving $3 billion a year ever since Pope Francis became the Pontifex Maximus in 2013. That's $3 billion a year. It's really hush money, payoff money. That is why they're so silent about Hong Kong. That is why the American government is so silent about Hong Kong. That is why the American government is allowing Venezuela to fall into socialism. It's an example of what's going to happen here, and they use it kind of as a foil. Oh, we don't want to turn into Venezuela, but then when they're on there having a little party and a few glasses of wine, but in that tunnel between Georgetown and the White House. You know, I heard yesterday on Fox News they admitted that the campaign manager was in a tunnel. That's where they were talking. Or, no. They said if Joe Biden was at the White House and he was stormed, he'd run into that tunnel. You see, they have a tunnel. I told you, we have it bugged with a mechanical fly. But they meet there in the morning to put together their reality script show. And we've done shows on This Is Nothing But a Reality Show, right? And Trump is an actor, Biden's an actor, etc., Obama, the whole works, Clinton. So anyway, Slats has been, the only way to break this, what's happening, we're not going to beat them with guns, we're not going to beat them with overthrowing governments, because all they'll do is say, you're not American and you are basically godless. They'll just turn the tables on you when they're not America and they are godless. That's exactly what they're doing, They're changing, they're always accusing good people of what they're doing that is bad, to make it simple. And they do it over and over again. They even play it between the left and the right. And knowing that the left and the right work together, they do that even as a part of the game show they do. And we've got that documented from the director, or the Jesuit director of this reality show, Luigi Franconi. And do you know that YouTube, for a while there, they were banning most of my videos, but I doubled down on them and put them on my archive so you can still get the shows. But recently, the only one they banned was the one I did on the interview I did with Jesuit director Luigi Franconi and this reality show. So it must be true, because they only banned the truth. So anyway, if you don't believe me, I got it on another video, so you can still listen to that groundbreaking interview. He was a little drunk, but it went well. So anyway, Slats has been kidnapped. He's gathering trinkets to break the spell, the occult spell. And he is not, I have to find where he's at, because Molly the pigeon, we have to use a carrier pigeon to transfer our messages, because it's really the only safe way now. And basically pigeons were, getting a little bored with just, playing in traffic and then not getting hit. It's amazing. None of them, they know how to play in traffic, and just crapping on statues. And they're a little upset with all these people trying to rip down their statues, because that's where they go. Where do you think they're going to go now? They're going to go on your head. But we have a deal with them that if we won't hit them on the street, if they won't crap on our head. But anyway, pigeons have been out of use. Molly's particularly happy. She's been in use. She transfers messages from Slats to the replica Coliseum, which I am at still. It's a very safe place. A lot to do here. I mean, it's better than being out in the public now. I mean, I call in the food. Everybody, Molly's recovering. She's out and about now with her friend. Yes, Molly has met a pigeon, and they're kind of out in the courtyard now getting to know one another. And he helped bring back the trinkets, as did a number of pigeons, because there were a lot of trinkets. They're now hermetically sealed in a very safe place because we need to collect more before this curse can be broken and we can go back to living free. Okay, and that's the only way. So I latched on. I knew Slats. Years ago, I met him in Chicago when we were fighting. He was fighting Mayor Daley and that crowd. And then he went on to 9/11. He was in a gulag there. And then I didn't hear from him. I remember the last time he got incarcerated, he said, "I'm building this Roman Coliseum. Don't worry. It's going to be in a Kansas cornfield. And we're going to house a place where we can take all these Illuminati, Vatican, Jesuit-led New World Order people and put them there. So they can play as gladiators, and we will fill the stands with 100,000 people." Well, I got in touch with Slats back in April. And so let's go. When this whole thing started, and I got in touch with him when he sent me an email. Now remember, he's in custody right now. I've got to get him out. Molly's recovering because it's the only way to get messages safe in this technocratic world. They're hijacking everything. They know anything you do. You send a message. So we do use pigeons. And Molly's the best because when she comes to Kansas, you would not believe this. Just like the Wizard of Oz, pigeons speak here. Tell me that ain't freaky when you first see that. But, you know, such is life. I never thought I'd see everybody in America and in the world. Every time I turn on the TV, I start to throw up when I see one of those masks. It must be because that is one of their ways, like I've told you, that you participate in their death and their birth ritual. Death of an empire, death of a people, birth of a new one. And then, you know, you're worshiping Amun-Ra, the god of sun, the Luciferian light bearer, who they worship, and they're getting you to do it. So if you're a Christian, if you're a Buddhist, if you're a Hindu, don't do it. Unless you realize. So you've been warned here. Now you're not ignorant. Go check it out. Don't do it. And somebody says, well, how can I go shopping? You got to figure out a way. You know? Bible even tells you that don't partake or get near evil. Okay? All right. So much for that. So anyway, somebody said, well, go back to the beginning and just fill us in so we can catch up on what happened because people are forgetting about this revolution. And it started with Slats sending me a small email. It said, give me baseball or give me death. And that really upset me because now that was, I thought we're going to have I live for the baseball season. Believe it or not, I love the Cubs. I've been going to games ever since I was a kid. We used to go sit in the third base dugout, right there, because nobody used to go to the games back when the Cubs were the lovely losers, but we loved them. And we'd go to the game. It was so cheap to get in. I went to 30 games one summer. I mean, I lived in the ballpark. And I even used to play catch. We'd bring our mitts. And the ball players back then were so friendly that they'd play catch with us from the stands, And now, forget about it. You can't touch the baseball or you'll get COVID-19. Isn't that ridiculous? I got to go over the rules. I mean, baseball is done. Somebody asked me, is there going to be baseball, football? No. They're taking everything away. They're wiping the slate clean. Baseball's going to have to be transported to somewhere else. I think what we have to do is get a big ship, an ark, another one, and take it west or east or north and go to that ice wall. Nobody believes me. And then we got to climb it and we got to keep going until we find that land. This is a flat place we live on. That's at least, I can say it because, I've got the COVID virus, hoof and mouth disease. I can say anything. And who cares? We're all going to die of it. COVID virus. I don't have it yet. I got the virus, hoof and mouth disease, which means I break out into singing every now and then. I can't control it. I'm at that stage. It's not coming. I'm going to get through this without a song. You're so lucky. But anyway, yeah, we'll just take it there. We'll take baseball, too. We'll start a new civilization. At least we can play baseball somewhere. And they're going to tell, well, we're going to play it on the moon. We're going to play it in Mars. There is no Mars, from my point of view. You may think there is. And NASA has created some really nice computer images of it, but that's about it. So, anyway, give me baseball or give me death. And I got to say this, so I can get this article done in about 7 minutes, because I want to... I was looking at what they're doing to baseball. And if you know anything, they're not allowing the pitcher. Okay, listen to this story. This is how bad it is. The other day, this is true, Garrett Cole, who plays for the Yankees now, they're having an inter-squad game. And he struck out one of their balls. He's getting back into the mood because they're supposedly going to play 60 games. But with rules that, to me, it's not going to be baseball. They can't even spit. I mean, they can't touch people. I mean, what is... But listen how ridiculous this is. When we know there's no pandemic. Garrett Cole throws the pitch, strikes his batter out, and what they normally do then, if you're not familiar with baseball, Gary Sanchez, the catcher, throws it around the horn. What he means is he takes the ball, he throws it to the third baseman throws it to the second baseman to the shortstop, first baseman, then the ball comes to the pitcher. The reason they do that is to keep the ball players awake. I used to play baseball. And you gotta, you're there, you strike out, you haven't touched a ball in a while, so the catcher keeps everybody awake for the next hitter, right? Well, the pitcher usually loves that ball that he struck the player out with. I won again, I'll strike another one out. Pitchers are funny, but they get a feel for the baseball, and they rub it up. They can't do what they used to with the ball, and they can't go to their forehead to get sweat, put it on the ball. Any of this, it's not baseball. So anyway, he gets ready to throw the pitch after Gary Sanchez throws the ball around the horn, and guess what? The umpire says, no, you can't use that ball. And he goes, he was mad. I saw the little video. Why? He said, it's COVID virus, could catch a virus. The other players touched it. He's laughing. They threw the ball away. So he gets another ball, and the next guy hit a home run, and you should throw it. He threw his glove down. He said, this is ridiculous, and it is ridiculous. I was watching one of their inter-squad games, and guess what happened? The guy hit a fly ball to left field. Easy. They call it a can of corn in baseball. A can of corn. You can catch it. It's so easy, right? That's because in the old days you'd play with a can of corn, right? Who knows? But it's the old baseball expression, fly ball to left field. Schwarber getting back. He's under. It's a can of corn. You know what he did? He let the ball hit the ground. He ran away from it. Yeah, he was afraid to catch it because somebody had touched it. Or he saw the guy touch the bat with rosin or something, and then the ball hit it, so he figured, I can't catch this. I'm going to catch COVID virus. That happened a number of times. There was a ground ball hit the shortstop. Easy double play. Run around first. They flip it to the second baseman. He takes off. He doesn't want to touch the ball. I'm not catching COVID virus. That's what this game is going to be like. So give me baseball or give me death. Really, I don't want to live in a world like this. I can't watch it. They're going to have no fans. The umpires are going to be 6 feet away. It's going to be ridiculous. You can't have meetings on the mound. There'll be no coaching. The players are going to sit in the stands because they've got to be 6 feet away. How can you run a team? This is insane. And when we get to this, I was listening, to Lou Holtz the other day. He was the old football coach from Notre Dame. And listen, I liked what he said. And the poor guy, Lou lost his wife, and he still came on because he's a real go-getter when it comes to college football. And I played college football for 4 years, had a scholarship, loved playing. And I'm watching this, and they're talking about no college football. I mean, why? They got pads on. They got helmets. I mean, what are you talking about, no college football? Lou Holtz read them the riot act. Oh, my goodness, you got to get that interview. It's the best thing I heard. He said, this is crazy. We've got to get back to normal. This is not a dangerous thing for these kids. It might be a little bit dangerous for someone like me with asthma, but I'm still around. I haven't even been sick. This is crazy. We got to get things back to normal. But he says, how can you have football when you're not even going to have school? So they're destroying everything in America. Everything. They've done it already. It's going. They don't want anything the way it was. You're not going to have the little pleasures anymore. So we got to take baseball somewhere else. Any of you who love football, I used to play it. If I had to choose now, I enjoy watching baseball. It's a more friendly spot. I liked having a hot dog. All the people around. What are you going to go to a game now? And they're going to let 20 fans in? This is not America. Okay, I can give you some more examples of how crazy this game is going to be and how needless it is. And then you're going to turn on the news and listen to them in the alternative universe. Every morning I wake up and I go, where are these people? I mean, everybody's fine. I haven't met one person sick. Nobody. Boy, they played a big one on us, didn't they? Well, anyway, let me do this. I only got about 5 minutes to run you down. This was the opening salvo to Slats Grobnik's American Revolution. And I said, Slats Grobnik, he looked out over a Kansas cornfield, standing atop his replica Roman Colosseum. He saw an America put to sleep by an occult spell. No lights in the distance, no cars on the interstate. It was as if the whole country drank a witch's brew from the Dark Ages and fell into a deep sleep. He sent me a message. It finally happened. After all these years and nobody listened, the Vatican Jesuit psyops, invisible black plague, has arrived, said Slats, thinking he would never now fill this 100,000-seat Coliseum since everyone in America was frightened to leave their homes. How could this be, he said, just when I was ready to open my dream theme park, these scoundrels, these infiltrators, taking us down from within, beat me to the punch and shut the world down. One day everybody wanted to buy tickets to see the elites fight it out, and now even Wrigley Field is closed. Wow. You believe this? My goodness. He stood silent for a minute, picking up an authentic Julius Caesar sword he once stole from the Vatican archives during his years in Rome working as a spy for the underground Protestant resistance. Yeah, that's what he used to do. People, I know his background. And he was waving his sword wildly above his head. He proclaimed, shutting down Wrigley Field is an act of war. Let the revolution begin. And he wasn't kidding this time. Like so many times in the past when he threatened revolution, this time, it was so much different. Wow. This time he mounted his chariot. Yep, he's got one. I've seen it here. I'm here right now. Got to take care of his horses. His chariot led by 4 white horses, looking like he's named them Mo Curly, Larry, and Schiff. Mo Curly, Larry, and Schiff. I take care of them every morning, the white chariot horses. They're fun. I'm an old exercise rider of racehorses, so I know my way around. And I used to. So I get on the chariot every now and then, because for a while, when I came back from Italy, I drove one of those hansom cabs in New York. Imagine doing that now. I enjoyed it. 6 months I did it. It was a moneymaker, boy. I'd drive around. At night, you go everywhere in New York back then. Safe city. Now I wouldn't trust it. And I used to drive around Central Park in the daytime and Rockefeller Center. Good job. So I'm on his chariots. And here he was. He's, waving the sword. He shut down Wrigley Field, an act of war. He let the revolution begin. It was final. I saw him. He sent me a video then before I got there. This time he mounted his chariot, led by 4 white horses, looking like Ben-Hur with reins in one hand and his iPad in the other. As he rounded the first curve, he began emailing, texting, tweeting millions of his fellow Americans fed up with OAC, Bernie Sanders, the Jesuits, globalism, saying, "Let the revolution begin," and text me back if interested. During, several rides around the Coliseum floor, he emailed and texted 160 million Americans, the entire half of the country who now wore their MAGA hats in opposition to the other 160 million in the Jesuit globalist army. Bringing his chariot to a stop, he wondered if anybody was left to fight as he heard the Fox News reports for the last 3 months that the invisible Black Plague was sweeping the country, killing everybody in his path. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. Now, this was back in the beginning of this thing, right? Look at what's happened now. They're still sitting at home. And he thought it was quite ironic In this Second American Revolution, the good guys would be wearing red uniforms, and the bad guys clad in their blue and white polka-dot rainbow colors, representing the triumphant world powers of the Vatican City, London, Washington, D.C. Quote, "This is a great day for America," he said. "Let my chariot ride, which I saved for posterity with a selfie, be remembered like the ride of Paul Revere as a call to arms for all Americans to stop the globalist final push for a one-world government and a one-world religion." He said this, "I went to all those Cub games one summer." He's like me. I'm surprised I didn't meet him there. Well, he's a little older. "Long ago, I said, once they stopped baseball, this was the final straw. This invisible plague they concocted and hoisted upon us. The world must be as bad as I see no one in the streets, in the parks, and in the restaurants, ghost towns all over America. They have wanted to kill all of us useless eaters for a long time, as Kissinger once said. I just hope millions return my texts, and there are enough freedom-fighting, freedom-loving, and patriotic Americans ready to fight to break the curse, to heed my call to arms." And as he retired to his quarters beneath the Coliseum, with a roaring fist command, I proclaim myself General Slats Grobnik of the Second American Revolution. Well, in a sense, folks, that was the beginning of it all. When I first got back to, I've known Slats for 25, 30 years, but I'd lost contact, and when he contacted me, boy, you know where what's happened since, and I'll continually updating till we can figure out how to get him out of that gulag again that the Jesuits and the White House Secret Service probably put him in. And we know we'll get him back. He's too valuable for them because they always love a good enemy. That's why they allow this thing to be here. Right. I think they want to use it, they think, on us again. But we're going to stop that, aren't we? Okay, have a great weekend. Don't forget to say you love the ones you love. And I'll see you on Monday on the Investigatore Giornale.
The book of Revelation says, "The spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ." This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.